ad nauseam, day in, day out. Everybody, they wanted him to resign, from what I've heard from certain sources. They wanted him to resign. Godfrey Dami was sent to go and broker a deal.
The sources told you that?
Yes. And you know, I've said it a number of times here. If it was false, I'm sure it would have taken me on. They were hounding him out of office because Baffoe-Bonnie had the temerity to vote against Akufo-Addo in the election 2012. A matter of the presiding officers who didn't sign the
signature.
If Baffoe-Bonnie had voted for Akufo-Addo, then it would have thrown the elections into a second round because all those constituencies, etc., they were to be nullified. You say, but because Baffoe-Bonnie didn't vote for Akufo-Addo on the bench at that time, when Akufo-Addo took office, Akufo-Addo never forgave Baffoe-Bonnie for it. So they gave him hell. It was pathetic. Even Jubilee House, for most part, was a no-go area. He wasn't welcome to the Jubilee House, etc. It was so horrible. Why do you think Akufo-Addo got that name? Nebuchadnezzar, etc.
Is that to say that even though seniority is a big consideration at the bench, other elements could still water down that particular consideration of seniority?
Oh, absolutely.
The person can appoint anybody.
Anybody, just like, so let's go to Justice Tokono. At the time she was appointed, she had at least not less than 7 seniors ahead of her. I think some people say 11. But I'm just, I think I've heard 11. So Baffoe-Bonnie is senior to her, right? On the Supreme Court bench. Puaman, Tanku, there's Avril Johnson, Mariama, Doji, of course, they have since retired, etc. There were a lot of seniors ahead of her, but she got the nod. Okay, so it's not, you won't find a straight textbook on it. It's a lot of horse trading, negotiations here and there, but key among them, usually, presidents are looking for loyalty. They want to go to bed, okay, a peace, or they sleep soundly, knowing that if a case comes to the Supreme Court, they will win. You know how politicians are. They don't want to be saddled with Supreme Court losses here and there. They like to win. You see how the Demlevo case, when we sued, Kofi Metal and I, we sued on behalf of CDD, etc., ASEP, and all the One Ghana movement, etc. You see how the case delayed. It delayed because
we were winning.
Yes. You see, even though at a point we also contributed, there was fatigue, this up and down, at a point we also were tired, you get. But bottom line, when the key things are if the court wants to move, it will move. If you don't bring your issues, the court can sit there and say, look, these are the issues we've identified. We are going ahead with judgment. You remember, when you want to see the speed, Oliver and Kofi is here, you were a lawyer in the Asian, what's his full name, the Pink Sheet case.
Yes,
they send you into their own offices one day that produce the issues and then let's adjourn for judgment.
They reconstituted the court in a different room. The justices went and sat there. They summoned the lawyers. They put us in a room to rewrite and amend the LI.
So the
reason why Pink Sheets today had the main that case, and credit to my senior Sheshe for him, and when the court wanted to take action, in fact, the Supreme Court chamber was under renovation or something.
If you don't bring your issues, the court can sit there and say, look, these are the issues we've identified. We are going ahead with judgment. You remember, when you want to see the speed, Oliver and Kofi is here, you were a lawyer in the Asian, what's his full name, the Pink Sheet case.
Yes,
they send you into their own offices one day that produce the issues and then let's adjourn for judgment.
They reconstituted the court in a different room. The justices went and sat there. They summoned the lawyers. They put us in a room to rewrite and amend the LI.
So the
reason why Pink Sheets today had the main that case, and credit to my senior Sheshe for him, and when the court wanted to take action, in fact, the Supreme Court chamber was under renovation or something. They moved it into a different place. They finished the case. They ordered us into a room. We sat there for hours, redid that rule, came back and adopted it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had Pink Sheets. That election was going to go some other way. So if they want to do it, they will do it.
So that's the point. So that's to buttress the point that when the court wants to move swiftly, they do it. But sometimes when strategic reasons...
When they want to find excuses to delay too.
It's for 2 years.
You say, yeah, so that's the point. So with all of this, I think that the appointment is good. Baffoe-Bonnie is learned, from the 97, there about 96 as a circuit court judge. So it means that he's gone through, apart from the district court, meaning that he's gone through all the courts, circuit court to high court to court of appeal to Supreme Court. So hopefully that would show in his administration. And you see how earlier in the, 2 days ago, he met the Law Society of Ghana, the other umbrella group. And it's good. It's good that we're going to have a second bar association. Yeah, I welcome it. And it's good Baffoe-Bonnie met them and told them, look, go through the law and be recognized. Because we don't want one bar association which will be hijacked by one political party.
Well, that's another sign at the Supreme Court on this matter.
No, he said they should go through.
No, he's adding commentary.
I said that we don't want one bar association which has been hijacked by one political party.
You said.
And is being used against the other political party. So when there are two, we'll get plurality of voice.
Well, I think the distinction is important.
Yes, it's important so that people don't think he said it.
It will be ridiculous. He can't say that.
No, you never know. That's why the distinction is important.
Okay, no, he couldn't have said that. Hey, you create trouble.
See, because like Oliver and Lama Tipebo are on the same time about this connection, as you call it, are there not enough measures in place to ensure that even if you get to the apex with whatever connections you have, John Dramani Mahama there, a number of your messages, and we'll get into it. But you see, the concern, or if you monitor the sentiments that are captured in Musa Danquest's poll, it's about the speedy trial. People want to see that, to the extent that you are saying this person has done A, B, and C. If it's proven beyond reasonable doubt, then jail him.
Well, but proving it beyond reasonable doubt is not a quick thing. You see, the problem with politics and justice is that one can promise a lot of fast things, but the wheels of justice necessarily grind slow. So let me tell you frankly, Oral was overhyped.
Oral was overhyped?
Oral was an overpromise. They came in, my brother, get there, as if they would jail people tomorrow. He was in people's yards and they were, this person has seized this land. And you see, when you criticize the justice delivery system like that, you end up where he has ended up. Look, he knows, because he's an expert in criminal law. The wheels of justice necessarily grind slowly. Okay? I think in our system, too slowly. But the point is that Oral was overhyped and is under-delivering. It does not mean it has failed. And listen, I support Oral. There are too many bandits in this country wearing political robes and robbing us blind on every side. And we must go after them. But please, be careful how you overhype it. Now, clearly, there is some good push in our economy. All right? The president is still enjoying a lot of goodwill. But Imani's polls, we've done some research. If you Google it, you'll find it. You will see that the sentiments are eroding, but it's very normal, very natural. You can't keep it up all the time. Okay? What we can do is what's going on and that kind of thing. Ask me what's going on. The economy is doing well. The main reason why the economy is doing well is because the city is doing well. The main reason why the city is doing well is because we had 30 tons of gold from the previous government. All right? And we've sold about $3 billion of gold to hold up the city and shore up the economy. That gold is coming from Galamsey. The Galamsey is having problems here.
Well, right? It hasn't been proven any.
Well, the gold is not coming from the main mining companies. It's coming from small scale. Yeah,
miners. So illegal miners. I think we need to distinguish that. Now, small scale miners are not illegal miners.
I'm telling you that the bulk of the gold is not coming from. So let's not argue that.
Data. Yes.
Okay. My point is that there are good things, but there are also some other things with the previous government. Okay? And they're happy that we have a president like President Mahama, who is a fine gentleman. And President Mahama, I believe, but he hasn't told me, is fighting back his hawks. Okay? Because some people want to do some things. I am not happy with the way they treated C.J. Tokono. Not because I don't want her removed, I want her removed. It's the process. And you see some of there's been a release coming out of that. And I think he's having to fight back his hawks. That is coming from that confidence that makes people believe that because of the nature of the margin and the kind of winning we have had, we can do almost anything. No, you can't do almost anything. There are a number of things in this economy which ultimately tell whether we are doing well or not. Water, health, energy, education, transport and telecommunications. Now, when the chips are down and we go to do the analysis and Musa Damka goes to check, people are going to start checking with these things. Right now, we are in a bit of an euphoria because of all the things that have gone on. But at the end of the day, how are we doing with water? I told you the city is doing well. That affects everything. Okay? We're not doing well with water. Okay? It's just not coming up. All right? And Galamsey is polluting the water and all that. We are not doing. One day, it's going to come up when the euphoria settles down. How are we doing with health? When was the last time you had a good discussion on the National Health Insurance Scheme? A good discussion on it.
Kofi, just a second.
Prof,
Just a second.
you know, no, Prof,
Kofi
he's
is speaking all over the place. I want to be.
Prof,
No, you asked a specific question.
But
I think the question had to do with oral.
He has got into.
I think you are all over the place.
There are many things I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with the question.
Because the oral.
Right. I said oral is just one of the things. It's about generally the sentiments around now. And I'm saying oral was one of the big things. And you see, it excites people. People want to see the people who messed us up pay. And I'm saying, much as that excitement was there was an over-promising in oral. And now we are realizing the effects that, look, you can't just catch people and jail them. And so people are feeling like it's slow. All right? It's not really slow. It's the way the system works.
But the Attorney General himself has indicated that he knows that proving guilt in criminality is not a walk in the park.
Yes, exactly.
But then again, you juxtapose that how slow the system is to the expectations of the people.
And I'm saying that expectation was because of the nature of the promises that were made. So I'm saying when you politicize the justice delivery
recover or lose.
Yes. Let's just be
other people.
Okay, hold on.
So let's just be careful.
Tell people that you recover or lose.
Gentlemen, let me say this. Hold on.
Okay. Let's just be careful about that.
If one person is speaking, I would ask that.
Now,
hold on, gentlemen. If you want to make an intervention, let me know. I would always acknowledge that. But let's not obstruct the flow of others.
Let me go on. Yes. Now, so much as oral is going slower than people wanted, expected, or hoped, you have a situation where there has been a whole load of nollie prosequis, existing prosecutions that were ongoing, which have been stopped, for good or for bad. I'm not making a value judgment on that, but that's what the people are seeing. Our people are getting off the hook, and other people now are being thrown into the system. Then again, do not make light of the nature or the way that CJ Tokono has been treated. We can't say she's a popular person, all right, because she has been attached to the previous government, all right. So there's a certain sentiment that 707070 remove her. But I'm telling you, sober-minded people worry about the process.
That's the next conversation.
I'm making a point about, you see, your question was about, a generality. So I'm saying that generally, you move from a very high position, but these are the things that are eating down, the kind of popularity that the government started with and also have found.
Could anything have been done differently about the oral fight? What we are seeing now? Because there was a specific promise. Recover. Or loot.
My point is this. I support oral. But oral cannot be as fast as it was promised. So the problem is in the nature of the promise and the expectations that were created. And I'm saying the politicians in future, both MPP and NDC, should be careful how they promise swift, justice. Because justice is not necessarily that swift if it has to be done properly.
Oliver, was there any issue with the nature of the promise of oral?
I think that oral is in fact underhyped. I think that
it's underhyped.
Yes. I think that this ability to save the Fourth Republic from the path that we are on, we haven't sufficiently understood and communicated that well to the people. We have to take people through the due process. It is about the extent of seeing, what is the investigative capacity that has been increased vis-a-vis oral? What is the investment that have been made in connection with prosecutorial capacity vis-a-vis how we fight with oral? what is the law reform that we have brought? Kofi was talking earlier about RICO laws and racketeering and all of that, and be able to recognize organized crime. What legal tools have we brought in place? What is the lifestyle audit law and framework for how we do that? All of these things have not been put in place. When we're talking about even the court systems, I have been in court, and in so many cases I am defending, where you go before a judge, you take one witness for 1 hour. They say that the next time you come back is in a month for another 1 hour. 3 months. Then you're telling me that you're going to bring all these cases. Forget the 1,400 that have been arrested for Galamsey.
Yeah.
You're bringing them into the same existing court structure without any increase in the capacity of the courts to be able to handle that. So there's the infrastructure of oral that I think is still missing for me. That hasn't been fully fleshed out. It's not about the number of cases. So I am not seeing that administrative build-up that reinforces and reassures that capacity is being dealt with. The questions about, the previous administration and folks who were being prosecuted, and then they used technical delays to be able to frustrate the process for 8 years. We knew this before we got into, before the government got into power. So what has been done differently? So if you're coming to prosecute all these things, and I don't doubt your commitment, and I don't doubt your understanding that we have lost so much on corruption. But then when I see that in terms of the infrastructure of our justice system, it hasn't changed in any way, then I'm doubtful whether or not you sufficiently understand the problem or you're just being naive. So for me, there's an element of naivete, or then you're not resourced enough. So perhaps that's the question. It is.
I think you've agreed with me.
No, for me.
We
So
don't
it's not about
the system for
I think-
speedy justice delivery.
So the bulk of the work around oral has to be that system.
Yes.
And I have expressed disappointment with the preparatory committee.
I agree with me.
The reason why I was disagreeing with I like the idea of putting in place a preparatory committee. I had assumed that their mandate would be dealing with those questions of institutional, legislative reform ideas about how, these are all the problems that will haunt the process. How do you deal with it? It then became a letterbox for people to bring their complaints to. So the value of what the preparatory committee should have been doing is all the roadblocks that were going to challenge oral in the way forward. And how then do we make proposals and hit the ground running to reform the infrastructure of our criminal justice system to allow for more speed in terms of what people want to see.
So you want to...
a final point first.
Right.
I do not take away the fact that the fact of legal vacation in itself would influence people's perception as to whether or not there's heat on oral. Because the fact that the court can, up and leave from the end of July and come back on October, meaning that people are not going to see anything within that time stretch. And so when the poll is being done within that time stretch, obviously the sentiment is that, what is now happening? Because everything seems to have died down in terms of the conversation. But if there was investigative capacity, and we are seeing the number of people within the time the courts are on vacation, being arrested, being brought before, new charges being prepared and filed, throughout all this process, then we'll be like, even when the courts are not there, we are seeing a lot of momentum around this. So I still think there's time to go back to the drawing board in terms of the capacity we need to.
Final point, Oliver.
30 minutes to make your point.
Chief Justice, Baffoe-Bonnie was come. Baffoe-Bonnie, Chief Justice, we beg you, is that we need reforms in the bailiff system. Right? There are not enough bailiffs. The bailiffs are too few.
Electronic services process.
Electronic services. Use email.
Millions of graduates home. Let's pay for that extra. Or you
let me tell you
an experience. I mean, some students took the university to court, and then I think I happened to be there to witness the process. The lawyer was talking. And this was, he was dictating to somebody to.
That's our fast track court.
He was dictating. He was dictating what he wanted to say.
Yes.
And I couldn't start.
It messes with your mind badly.
And you say that we can. In spite of all these things, oral should go quickly.
So knowing that, you should have been careful.
No. I mean, the process. The point is that we must recover every loot, and that cannot.
Nobody's arguing with that.
That cannot be any promise that you can.
Nobody is that.
So I think he indicated quite clearly that he supports oral.
Yes.
It is the how that probably
The system is
where
not.
till now. And now he has been nominated for the substantive Chief Justice with a wealth of experience that he comes in with. At a time that the judiciary finds itself now, and all the issues that you have outlined, Justice Paul Baffoe-Bonnie, the man for the job, you say?
Oh, absolutely. We did this interview earlier in the week, and I said he's a man for the job because, and I'm sure Prof had earlier on made the point, I think some months ago, about seniority, right? So on the Supreme Court bench, Baffoe-Bonnie is the most senior. Even though Justice Amadou Tanko is senior at the bar, that's Amadou Tanko and I think Mensa Bonsu. Yeah, they were called, yes. But in terms of the Supreme Court bench, Baffoe-Bonnie is far senior to them because they came, was it sometime 2018 or 19, thereabout. Yeah, but Baffoe-Bonnie has been on the bench from 1996 or 97. Yes. 96. Yeah, he started in the circuit court. Then the year 2000, Rawlings appointed him to the High Court. Then 2006, Kufuor brought him to Court of Appeal. Then 2008, he made it to the Supreme Court, right? So I say that because he's the senior most, it's okay that it goes to him. And then more exciting is the fact that this is a Kufuor appointee to the Supreme Court.
Do you put competence over whatever connection you talk about?
So first of all,
it's political connection.
It's political connection. That's what competence.
We are hoping that the president. Every appointment that is made by politicians, you are hoping that the president is competent. Please. But the criteria is that you have to be appointed.
I don't think that it will even be fair to the people.
This is the process we have designed.
Wait.
This is not a bad commentary on the people. The process we have designed is that you have to catch the eye of the executive. That's it. So if you're talking about reform, we can reform it, but that's it.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not saying it doesn't play a role. Do you put competence or political connection over competence? So-called.
Everybody is competent. So you see, the problem is that when I'm communicating, we are very little. I don't know, maybe in a minute you'll stop me. So I go straight for the jugular, the most important thing. Because if I go and start from competence, integrity, by the time I'm coming to the most essential one, then you say no. The perils of. So I'm going for the most important. When I finish that and you give me more time, then I can go for the constant. So the constant is that he's been when I said he's been a judge since 1997, blah blah. I read all that. It's presumed that he's competent. That's why he's been there. If he wasn't competent, you'd have been removed a long time ago. So I won't waste any more time on the word competence. You see, so I go straight for the jugular. That is political connection. So the thing is that so he had enough political connection for Kufuor to take him to the Supreme Court, and that's 2008, right?
Yes.
Now. How many years on? Almost 16 years on. President Mahama is making Chief Justice. So the point I want to say is that political connection with Kufuor means that he subscribes to the MPP ideology and philosophy. So for President Mahama to overlook Justice Puaman, who is Mahama's own appointee, it tells you that we've made a huge stride forward. It's huge progress because usually every president will want to appoint people who belong to their political persuasion. I mean the ideology. You see, the ideology, the philosophy. So to see that Justice Puaman is on the Supreme Court bench, yet President Mahama went for Baffoe-Bonnie, I think that yes, we should commend President Mahama for it. He didn't just say that, I'll look at my own appointee and give him the job. No. Says Baffoe-Bonnie, yes, you are Kufuor appointee, but you have the job because you are competent, you have the requisite integrity, etc. And most especially let's put another reason I'm excited that Baffoe-Bonnie is made it is that, during the Kufuor time, Kufuor ostracized and hounded Baffoe-Bonnie.